All right, over the last few weeks, we've had the RacerX Fan of the Week rating that we brought to you from BROtocross.com, and fun as it is, it just doesn't have quite the pop that it would if we had the guys from BROtocross come on and do it themselves. So this week we've got Eazy from BROtocross on the line with us, and he's going to give us the RacerX Fan of the Week rating himself. So how's it going, Eazy?
I'm doing good, guys. Glad to be on here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, dude. It's you know, as good as the rating of the RacerX Fan of the Week is, when we just kind of, do it back.
We just don't do it justice.
It just, it does not do it justice to not have you doing it in person. So, hey, first of all, why don't you tell me how this whole rating the RacerX Fan of the Week thing came about?
It really just came about because I know that a couple of my friends would always talk about the Fan of the Week, and we would always just discuss what was wrong with them, and and so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to start doing that on BROtocross, and I know that every time you put chicks on the website, it is just absolutely fabulous for getting views.
There's nothing better than
and it worked. It worked. So
yeah,
you know, if my site has to be, almost a porn site to get views, then I'm totally cool with that.
You're good with that. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you at all. There's a website that I've told Steve about a dozen or so times. It's called The Dirty. Nick Ritchie, are you familiar with him?
I hate that motherfucker.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I think he's a douche, but his site, he fucking puts people on blast big time.
I know he does, and I'd be lying if I said I never go to that website, but I every time I go to it, I'm just like, oh, this motherfucker, I hate him.
Dude, he's making money.
Does he really make money?
Yeah, he really does make money.
I doubt it.
He, my brother-in-law owns a nightclub in Cincinnati, and they were gonna, when they opened this thing up a few months ago, they were gonna get one of the chicks from Jersey Shore, and she wanted $20,000, and I told him, I go, you are a fucking idiot, dude. You need to get Nick Ritchie from The Dirty on there, and he can blow your shit up online, and I'm telling you. So they were going after that to see what was going to happen. They looked into it. So anyway, I know his...
Wait a second. How does that relate to you knowing that Nick Ritchie makes any money?
Because I know what his appearance fee to show up at a nightclub
and
to host a night at the club. It's
$40,000. Talking out your ass.
No, dude, it's
again.
$40,000. I mean, they looked into it.
$40,000?
It's 40 G's.
For that guy to come to a club, it's $40,000.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, Easy's going to be getting.
I'll do for half that.
You need to be doing this shit.
Yeah.
I would do it for half that. Just call me a good Samaritan, but I just think that people need to have a good host.
They need exactly.
You know what? Fly me in. I'll do it for a tenth of that.
Dude,
totally.
All right, well, now you're just undercutting the market. Okay, don't be an asshole.
Don't be a douche.
All right, so let's get right down
to
this week's Fan of the Week. And by the way, in case we haven't made this clear in the past, Eazy has the blessing of RacerX on this. So let's just start off with your miscellaneous comments about, or your beginning comments about this week's RacerX Fan of the Week.
Okay, well, this week we really nailed it, absolutely. Because last week was a bit of a bust, okay, and not in the good sense of the word. It was, and so they really came at me with some fire this week. And I've said before that spokesmodels are a really tough sell for me, at least, because if it's going to be a spokesmodel, it's got to be a 10, okay?
Right.
And, actually, the RacerX Fan of the Week goes on the 2-point scale, so we don't subscribe to the 0 to 10. But, speaking figuratively, this is a 10, okay?
Yeah.
And, she's looking good. She's got all the accoutrement, if you will, of good RacerX Fan of the Week.
All right. So, let's go with the standard rating categories. Hair.
Okay, yes. Starting off with the hair, she's going with the very black hair. It's super, super black. It's a good thing. I'm typically more of a blonde guy, but I've said it before that if you have consistency throughout the hair, you're gaining some points with me. All right, the girls that are running the skunk hair, those SoCal girls, the dirty girls.
There you go.
Get that away from me, okay? This girl's just got the one color, And, you know, that's not a natural black. That's a very, very black, and I'll get to more about that later on in the rating.
All right.
But for the most part, I'm enjoying it.
All right. Now, what about the goods?
The goods. Explain the goods.
The goods are just the good part of the girl.
The goods.
Yes, and she is just phenomenal up here. We don't have anything to show us the bottom part, half of the goods. There's really two parts of the goods, the T and the A.
Sure.
And obviously, we look at this picture, the T is phenomenal.
It sure is.
Dude, I love that this is a well-thought-out process. I mean,
is.
this isn't just some fly-by-night bullshit.
No, but Jamie, really scroll up to the T because it is phenomenal. He's not kidding around.
It's phenomenal.
That's unbelievable.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. And, you know, I said in the rating, she looks like a character out of a video game that your parents don't really want you to play.
Sure.
And that's great, okay? If you're a spokesmodel, that's what I want to see. And if you're the RacerX fan of the week, all right, that's the fan of all the other fans, okay? This was the fan this week. That's what I want to see, okay? So good job.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to take the time to pick a fan of the week, pick one that people can aspire to be.
Yeah,
you know,
just while we were talking a minute ago, and he said last week was a bust. I just went back to it. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing.
What the hell?
I don't know.
That's disgusting. I'm glad we didn't do a show last week because we would have had to talk about that.
They were in Steel City last week, right?
Yeah.
So Pennsylvania. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't have a whole lot to offer,
terrible.
I'm guessing.
All right, so let's move on. Attire for this girl in red here.
Okay, well, she's a spokesmodel. This is just marketing at its absolute finest, okay? This is marketing 101. Like, when you walk into business class, this is the first thing that they teach you. If you're gonna have a spokesmodel, just throw your logo right in the center of that shirt. And she's rocking. We got some double D's here, okay? And I mean, everybody is going to be reading that logo, okay? Whether they know it or not, they are going to get some sort of impression of that logo. Okay, that is in their head.
Right. When I close my eyes, I still see that logo.
The logo.
Yeah.
I don't know what they sell, but I like it.
I don't know. It says 10, and that's all I'm thinking when I look at this girl.
Oh,
10.
absolutely.
All right. Now, what miscellaneous comments do you have about this?
Okay. Well, we've already said she's got the black hair, and she's rocking red attire. Okay, and she's got a very suspiciously good body. And I'm just saying, this girl's a vampire. Okay. When I look at this girl, all I can think of is that she is some Twilight shit, okay? And, you know, take a look at that smile. She looks like she's hiding a couple of fangs right in there.
She really does. Yeah.
It was literally the first thing that I thought when I saw this girl. I was like, oh, well, she could have some fangs right there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I said she's hiding some, a pair of molars that will rip your throat to shreds, and someone actually corrected me and said that they're canines.
Exactly.
And I said, thanks for the dentistry lesson, nerd. But you know what I'm saying, okay? She looks like she's ready to kill you, and I'm totally cool with that. She's also got the umbrella and the shades to hide her from the sun. And I'll bet you, if you put a piece of garlic bread in front of this girl, she would start to, run away.
Yeah. When I look at this girl, the first thing that comes to my mind is a Ferrari.
Oh, no.
And don't ask me why. I just, you got the black, the red.
You must be a faggot.
No, dude. She just looks
the
like she needs to be rode.
The first thing that comes to my mind is
she looks
so
like
much
she
not
needs
a
to be
Ferrari.
rode fast and just
There's
go
nothing
for it.
Ferrari that comes to my mind.
Dude, I gotta tell you.
Dude, shit from my teenage years comes to my mind when I see this chick. All right, so on a 0 to 2 BROtocross rating, what do we get?
She's a hard 2 out of 2.
Oh, I totally agree.
Totally agree.
All right, what else has happened on BROtocross this week? Fill us in before we dump you.
Well, today threw up some footage of Eazy and Pickle.
Yeah.
Nice.
At Milestone, getting it done.
We had Brock on last week, and he talked to us about that fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not hear that. What did he say?
Well, you know what? He said, well, what I wanted to